Hello and welcome to Cornwall. This is Andy's Cornish Creations. My name's Andy Paramore, and in this video I'm going to be making a little wooden Norman soldier. You can tell it's a Norman soldier because of the shape of his helmet. His shield's a bit Viking-like with his axe, but he's definitely a Norman, and he's called Norman. Here I've got a piece of, I think it's Sapele. It's about 5 inches long, and it's approximately 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And I've mounted it between centres, and I'm turning it around with my roughing gouge, which is a 1.25 inch roughing gouge. It's an old one, so it's a different shape to the modern ones. Then I've got it roughly round. It's got a little flat on there, but it doesn't make any difference. I'm using an old mortise chisel there to make a tenon, and there's my 1/2 inch skew just to put a dovetail onto the tenon. Now I've got it turned around and mounted onto the chuck, and I'm marking on different parts of the body. You see I've done a little drawing of what he's going to finish up like, and I'm just transferring the main dimensions onto the piece of wood. And also from that drawing I'll be able to use my calipers to get the different diameters of the helmet, head and body. A thin parting tool just to mark the different parts, so that when I start turning I've still got a reference. Now here I'm using the calipers to get the width of the helmet. Just turn away the excess there, and then working it down a bit. And giving it a bit of shape. Put 3 lines on. If I'm trying to make basically as a ball, a cylinder, I use the 3 lines as a reference. So the centre line is the highest point that I'm not really going to touch, and then work down the other 2. Then I've got a very rough shape. I was using a spindle gouge for the last part, and there I have a 1 inch skew chisel which takes out all the high points and evens it up. That's back to my tenon chisel, and then a 1/2 inch skew to do the same, take out those high points on the head, and then just take the nub on the top off with the skew. I've done a little bit of sanding, and then I remembered I got to put some holes in here for the eyes and for the nose. So before I get too far with the sanding, I'm going to drill those holes, because it's quite often you can get a bit of tear out. So these are the holes for the arms, and I find the centre of that, and then put a centre line up to the head, and then put a hole in for the nose. Right, there I did get a little bit of tear out. So I just poked it out a bit, put a bit of CA glue in, some activator, and then I can start sanding again, and I will sand down to 400 grit, and it leaves a nice finish around the holes then. Here I've got some sanding sealer. And some abrasive paste. It's already starting to shine nicely. Wipe off the excess, and then some wood wax 22 to give it a final polish. And then buff it up with a clean cloth. Now I'm using the thin parting tool to part off the base, and I'll be going in at a slight angle so it makes it a little concave so it sits down nicely. Here is a little round of yew, an offcut off a little short log, and I'm going to be making the shield out of this. So I put a little flat on the piece of sapele that was left from making the body, and hot glued this piece onto it. I've kept some tailstock support because I always like to, if I can, I like to have tailstock support just to add a bit of safety. And while even on a small piece like this, even if I can keep that support whilst roughing the shape out, it just makes the whole thing a lot safer. And once I've got the general shape of it, I'll be able to continue with light cuts without the tailstock support. There I'm just going to leave a little boss in the centre of the shield, raised up slightly. Sanding will be up to 400. Just put a couple of little feature rings in the centre of the boss, and I notice there's a few cracks in the surface of this. So I'm just applying a little bit of CA glue just to try and fill up those cracks, and also to perhaps stop the cracks widening at all. So again, give it a little light sand, because the surface of the CA can be a little bit bobbly and look a bit plastic looking. So give it a little sand, and then use my abrasive paste to polish up the piece, wipe off any excess, and then here I'm not parting it off as such. I'm just removing the glue that's holding it on at the back, and then just simply pop it off. I'm marking the centre of the back of the shield, ready to take a 5mm drill bit. Here is little Norman's nose. I'm using the spanner trick. I've got it on another video, it explains how I do it, but basically it's a spanner with a sharpened point on it, and it's a 5mm spanner, so it turns that dowel down to exactly 5mm, which is really handy when you're especially doing any sort of production work where you're doing several pieces and you can get them all down to 5mm without faffing about with a pair of calipers and just going down a little bit at a time until you get the required diameter. Here I'm doing the hand. I've just put a drill hole through, and I put a little piece of wood behind it so that when the drill went through it wouldn't break out the back of the wood, and it just gives it a little bit of support. I like to put the drill hole in first so that if you do get any breakout, you can when you're doing the final shape, it takes out any little bits. Back on with the 5mm spanner. Sand it up again, put some abrasive paste on. And with the really thin parting tool made from a knife, part that one off. So that was the hand that was going to hold the axe handle. Again, put some support behind it so you don't break it out at the back. And this is the axe head. I was trying to work out for a minute what I was doing there, but yes, this is the axe head. So I put a hole in it so that the handle could go through it, turned it around, and then I'm just on the belt sander, I'm just flattening off the sides to make an axe shape. I think I've missed the little bit of footage off here where I stuck the beard on, and the nose. I've lost it somewhere, but I did a video a short while ago on doing a gonk, which is exactly the same process, so you can always check that out, one of my old videos, and to show how I did that. Anyway, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Please give it the thumbs up if you can, and subscribe and like, and this is Andy Paramore, Andy's Cornish Creations, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.